It's day 3 of Oshkosh for me as I'm taking you to all the places we haven't seen yet at the EAA Airventure in Oshkosh. And then I wrap things up with a pretty impressive nighttime air show. All right, it is my last day here at Oshkosh. So I'm planning to leave tomorrow. We'll see. I mean, it rained pretty hard the other day and I've got like a pond. I'm at the lowest point. No wonder it was one of the last sites available. I'm at the lowest point basically on this field. So all the water's run down here, and you can see the water table is only like 3 inches below the ground because it's still all in those treads. My aft wheels, I keep doing, if I say boat stuff, whatever. I live on a boat most of the year. So my aft wheels are on a little bit firmer ground. My front wheels have already sunk a little bit. So we'll see what happens when I try to leave tomorrow. But they do have a bunch of tractors and stuff to pull people out. But I'm sure everybody's gonna need that tomorrow. But anyway, I'm gonna head in now. EAA Airventure is a huge place, so the easiest way to get around is by e-bike or golf cart. All right, it's Wisconsin, it's lunchtime, cheese curd tacos. I think I gotta do it. So my electric bikes there, you still got a little bit of fur, and light up lights are on them from Burning Man. You can still see the playa dust. Once you get playa dust on something, it's almost impossible to get off. It takes you forever to scrub it clean. But you know, I've had that Pedigo for 4 years now. I think it's been to 2 or 3 burns, and it's still working just fine. So I'm pretty impressed it's last that long. I got another one that's still decorated from Burning Man with all the pink fur on it, because that was what Amanda was driving around last time. So I didn't drive the pink fur bicycle here, but I do still have the black fur on it. I mean, who doesn't actually like cheese curds? I mean, like basically just fried mozzarella to fried cheese. All right, that was actually pretty damn good. All right, headed in now. So in case you're wondering here, they have a bunch of markets around with all the campers, you know, iced coffee, beer, you know, sandwiches, all that kind of stuff. Kind of convenient, not too overpriced. And then all these vendors are generally independent. They have to pay. I don't know how much they pay to be here, but I was talking to I've talked to a couple vendors, not gonna say who they are and all that, but they say their sales are up quite a bit this year. Like, you know, 30–40% better than last year. So that's a good sign that, you know, at least the aviation economy is doing well. Surprised at how many RV places there are here, so might as well continue with the trend here, showing you some RV stuff. So this is what they call a Super C. Super Cs are one of the biggest, you know, so I'd say Class Bs, which are the vans. Those are probably the biggest growing segment of the RV market. Probably the second biggest growing would be the Super Cs. So a Class C RV is basically based on you know, an E450, you know, or a, you know, big giant Chevy van with a heavy duty chassis and all that stuff. And these are kind of a combination between a Class A and a Class C. So you have the front end of a full-size truck, and then you have the RV part on the back. So it's a proper chassis with, you know, a big diesel engine up front, like same as you would have it on an 18-wheeler. But the problem is, okay, the reason that these have become so popular is the workability on them and the maintenance on them. So if you take a Class A RV like mine into a shop, so for instance, I had to have some work done, and I had some engine issues I needed to work on in Chicago. That's where I broke down. The hourly rate to work on an 18-wheeler at the Chicago Freightliner group was $150 an hour. But because mine was an RV, they don't want to work on it. They charge $300 an hour. And I've had another place where I was in Kansas, similar thing happened. I believe the hourly rate for an 18-wheeler was $100 an hour, and then the hourly rate for an RV was $200 an hour. That's because accessing the engines on Class A is extremely difficult. You got to pull up the bed, you can't get at it. Whereas these Class Super Cs, the 18-wheelers, basically you just lift the front hood bonnet off and you can get at the engine and do everything you need. So much more simple to work on. So that's why you're seeing that as one of the fastest growing segments in the RV market. And then inside, they're still pretty good. This one has, you know, 3 slide outs, 2 on one side, one on the other, and nice open space, livable space. This one right here is $370,000, which is comparable, if not maybe slightly cheaper than some Class A's. All right, for the latest from Piper is you have their M Class. I'm assuming that's like, because it looks to me to be the same fuselage, the same basic design as the Malibus. And you have a couple different variants. You have the 350 all the way up to, I think they have a 500, and then they have all the way up to the 700. The 350 is powered by an IO 540. It can cruise a little over 200 knots, go up to 23,000 feet, 25,000 feet. Whereas the Fury has a PT6 on it. That's a turboprop engine and can go up to 30,000 feet and nearly 300 knots, so quite a bit faster. They're both 6-place airplanes, really cabin class, pressurized, all that, pretty cool airplanes. I'd like to see if I can get in there and stick my camera in there to show you, but we'll see what we can do. So I was able to stick my head in one there, showed you. The cabins probably are very similar. It's the same fuselage, basically. The Fury has a slightly bigger tail, different engine, obviously, and it has upgraded avionics. Ooh, there's nobody in there. Maybe I can stick my head in there right now. And give you a look. Okay, and the Fury has a slightly different, has a little bit bigger wing, you know, because it's going faster, higher, and all that stuff. But pretty similar other than that. Eye-wateringly, $2 million for the 350, $4.5 for the Fury. I mean, cool airplanes. You probably have a very niche market who can buy it. But, you know, if you've got, you know, for me, if you lived in a small town with a, you know, community airport and you constantly travel, you know, 400 or 500, maybe 1,000 miles for work, and you do it, and it's worth it to you, buy something like that, makes your commute really easy and all that. But $2 to $4.5 million, you're pretty limited on who's buying that. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to have one. I actually have a video about a Malibu, so it's the same basic design. It's more like the M350, really cool airplane. You can buy a used one of those. I will link to that. That Malibu video, it actually has one of my more popular videos. I think it has over 1 million views. It was the first time me back in an airplane flying for a while, so please check it out. All right, so you're getting into the future here of aviation. You got the vertical takeoff and landing. So it's got 6 propellers. They're all, you know, vertical at the moment. And when it takes off, it transitions, they all 6 spin forward and push the push the airplane forward, and it becomes an airplane, right? So pretty cool. Right now they're saying it'll do about 200 miles an hour and it has about 100 miles of range. It's all electric. It is piloted. They've got this one here is their, I guess, demo airplane. They fly it around the air shows, and they got 4 or 5 more that are all in testing right now. So, all right, well, you got 5 seats in here plus the pilot, so, or no, 4 plus 5. But a lot of room in here, actually. Be interesting to see how this stuff happens. But there's no rudder pedals, you notice that, but you have 2 different controls here, more like a helicopter than an airplane. This is the future of aviation, it really is. That's why, so Mosaic passed recently, which is the new aviation regulations for light sport aircraft and light aircraft. Used to, they put a limit on engines and all that stuff. They didn't put a limit on how many engines and all that for that reason, because the FAA is forward thinking, going to know, okay, a lot of these light sport aircraft are going to have vertical takeoff and landing. They're going to be electric and all that, so pretty cool. I'm excited about this stuff. I think it'll be good for aviation in general. I'm sure they're going to be crazy expensive, and insurance for a while is going to be crazy expensive, but overall it'll be fun. So I found myself in like all the, you know, instruction in the universities and colleges are all advertising their aviation schools. So I went to Tarleton State University when I graduated. Technically, it's complicated. I originally started out University of Central Texas College, co-located together. Then it became Tarleton State my senior year, and then the next year it became Texas A&M at Central Texas, so whatever. I think I'm an Aggie, I'm not sure. But I actually graduated in Tarleton in Stephenville, even though that was the first time I ever went to that campus, because I went to Tarleton State at Central Texas in Killeen. Anyway, I digress. You got Embry-Riddle and all this stuff here too now. You know, if I was 18, 20 years old right now, I would not go to school or college anyway for aviation. I would not be seeking a career in aviation. I really don't think in 20 years, anybody that's going to school in college right now in aviation, they will not be able to retire as a pilot. In 40 years, for certain, there's not going to be a person in the cockpit. It's all going to be computers. There might be a monkey up there hitting a switch, but you'll no longer fly the airplane. I think that could be as little as 10 years for things like cargo aircraft, and 20 years you're going to see a much reduced pilot load and pilots in the cockpit of major airlines. In 20 years, a clean sheet airplane is going to be mostly computer driven, even taxied. there'll probably be a pilot up there the whole time just to monitor things and to keep the public satiated by having a real live person up there. But the days of pilots are numbered, and I think you're fine right now if you're 40 years old, but if you're 20, I would not go to school for it. This is the Experimental Aircraft Association, so there are lots of workshops for building your own airplane. So over here you have sheet metal workshop, here you have fabric. A lot of experimental airplanes are still made with dope and fabric and all that. Well, maybe not dope, but whatever. Welding, all these things you can learn on all this stuff. Fiber, you want to do fiberglass and all that. So you want to come here and learn how to do something with composites, all that. So the Vans RVs, I have been interested in these for a while. Some of the less expensive ones are probably in more of my price range. Like, I would love this RV10. This RV10 is amazing. 4 seats, super fast, super functional, carries a lot, goes fast, all that stuff. The downside is that it takes, like, if you were to build it yourself without any help, it'd probably take you 5 years. If you got some help, you could do it in a year and a half, then you got to pay for a build assist and all that. Technically, you're supposed to build 51% of the airplane. There's people that do, I don't know how they get around all that, but whatever. I don't think it's by time, it's by parts you work on. So if you build the wing, that's half of the airplane, right? So anyway, if you do 51% of the build, then you get to do the maintenance yourself. I believe, I need to do a whole video on Mosaic for the Flying Doodles channel. I'll probably do one of those this week. Mosaic just passed, they changed a lot of rules. So the types of airplanes you can fly have changed under light sport. And then I believe I think, I could be wrong on this, that they changed the rules on build. I think used to you had to be 51% of the build had to be done by yourself, and you were able to do all the maintenance and sign off on your condition reports and everything, annual inspections. But I think they've changed it now, I think. I could be wrong on this, so you want to look this up first. That if you go to a class by the manufacturer, whoever makes the kit and all that stuff, or a certified class, that if you take that class, that will allow you to do your own maintenance on that airplane too, I think. I could be wrong, I'll look that up. All right, now we are in the Warbird Center. I do not know my Warbirds, especially my old ones, so like, if I call something by the wrong name, I apologize. I know that's a Messerschmitt, that's pretty cool. It is a hot one today. It might be beer 30. I need to stop over and get a cold one. All right, so they had most of the Warbirds, like the bigger ones, normally you can walk around them, but I'm assuming they're gonna be starting up maybe for an air show or something, so they're not letting people out there right now. But you got, the P-51s and the Mustangs, I don't even know what these are. I'm sure that's what I think they are, I don't know. One thing I've heard a lot about lately are these Sling airplane. They are a, amateur experimental airplane, home-built airplane. And they're claiming with the quick build kit. So I think the quick build kit comes with most of the, a lot of the big parts like the fuselage and the doors and all that, because those are the ones that are really hard to form. You can form the wings because the wings are made out of sheet metal and they're riveted on. So that wouldn't be too hard. But the fiberglass work for the fuselage and all that would definitely be harder to do. So they can sell you the quick build kit. It's an extra like $30,000 or $40,000 for the fuselage rather than building it all yourself, I imagine. But they say with the quick build kit, you can build most of these airplanes for 900 hours. So let me see here, if you're doing 40 hours a week, what would that be? Hang on a second, I can do math in my head real quick. 40 and 10. Can't be right, 20 weeks? So 40 hours a week times 10, that'd be 400. Times 2 would be 800. So you're talking 40, 50 weeks. So they're saying you can build, if it's your full-time job, you can build one of these in less than a year. Maybe you can. That'd be kind of cool. Hopefully you know what you're doing. But with the quick build kits, they have airplanes that range from 120 knots cruise to 160 knots cruise for the Big Daddy Sling TSI. With the quick build kits, this is what I looked up, they range from $200,000 to $400,000 with the quick build kit. Subtract $30,000 if you want to do it all yourself, but then you're going to add a lot more weeks to that. I think I'll kind of work my way to the exit to see what I can find, anything else interesting to me. I'm not too interested in like the air show and all that. So once you've seen one or two, you've seen them all, especially some of these airplanes. The more impressive airplanes are later in the afternoon. Although I will come back for the night air show. I hear that's really cool. And when I do come back for the night air show, I'm gonna bring my really nice camera, like with the low light lens and everything. Should get some really good shots of it for you. And they've had quite a few F35s actually fly by. And man, when they come by, like they scare the crap out of you because you don't know they're coming. and then they hit their afterburners right overhead. It's loud. It's kind of interesting though that they got some armed guys there hanging out by the F35, I guess, make sure nobody tries to hop in and steal one. I don't know. Or maybe get close enough to take some pictures of something they shouldn't be taking pictures of. Trying to get paid for the get down. You can't tell me shit now. I had to make a stop on the way back to the RV and hit the market. I was out of beer. That's just how it goes. That's just how it goes. You can't tell me shit now. That's just how it goes. All right, I was trying to do a cool shot, like, you know, but I can't like hold the camera and the beer and ride a bike at the same time, so you're gonna have to wait. What are you guys doing? All right, so I come back home and I have to fight off the terrorists. And then what I'm doing is I'm editing these basically right now so I can put it out tomorrow. Come on, quit it. Hey, let go. They might be. I thought y'all were done. Okay, I love you too. I know, I love you too. I love you too. Okay. Let me drink my beer in peace. Hey, quit it. All right. So, it's not over yet. Cheers to you. But I'm going to edit most of this video right now in the next couple hours. And then I'll film the night stuff tonight. And then I'll finish editing in the morning and you'll have it in the morning. So, all right, here we go. It has been a minute since I've used this camera. Hopefully the stability on it is pretty good. So this is a really nice camera. So Sony a7S III with, I mean, the lens on it is, I mean, the lens alone costs more than that Osmo. So I normally use the Osmo Pocket 3. This lens is, I don't know, $2,000 and the body's like $3,500. So it's like a $6,000 camera with the mic on it and everything. That being said, its low light capabilities are amazeballs. So I'm gonna take that in tonight. The downside of this camera, number one, is that well, it's a lot bigger. It's more conspicuous. So like if I walk in somewhere with this camera, people are like, what's going on with that? Whereas if I walk in with the Osmo, nobody even notices. And then, you know, I hold this out here. My arm's getting tired holding it up. And it's just a lot, you know, the quality on it's great, but, you know, it is what it is. All right, so I am gonna head in and I can't hold my chair, the bike, and this at the same time, so I'll see you guys when I get to the entrance. All right, about to walk in here. Got my chair with me. Brought a couple beers. Looks like people are bringing coolers and stuff. Had I known you could bring coolers and all that, I would have done that, but well, whatever. This is all right. So I haven't filled them yet, but you can hear the F35 just ripping around here, blowing their afterburners every time I come by, so pretty cool stuff. I mean, I think that one's an F22. That's pretty freaking rad. I mean, if that doesn't put a grin on your face, I don't know what does. I mean, come on. People say they got like FU money. Oh. It's like the American version of like FU airplanes. Like there is no country in the world that can compete with our airplanes. I mean, there is none. Pretty amazing. After the performance by the F35 and the F22, the rest of the air show started. I was pretty amazed by the coordination of these airplanes. Those crews are pretty good. And then the F35C took off, also known as the F35 Lightning. It is the Navy version of the airplane. The F-35C is capable of vertical takeoffs and landings. It can come to a standstill, do a 360, and then fly away. It was time for the fireworks show. It's much darker than my camera makes it look. You can actually see stars in the background. This is actually a Beech 18.
All right, well, that is it for me at the night air show. It was cool. It was cool. That F-35, that was cool. I mean, that thing just coming in just, oh wow. I mean, like, that's amazing, but pretty interesting. All right, so that is it from Glamping Doodles. There's gonna be a lot more of this content on Flying Doodles. So that's another sister channel of mine. Emma produces that and makes that. So you can head over there. She's got some cool videos from you. She did she interviewed the people with the blimp, the Goodyear blimp, and then the Constellation, and a few other things. So check out Flying Doodles. Thank you guys for watching Glamping Doodles. There's gonna be a lot more Glamping Doodles content coming soon, so make sure you're subscribed to this channel as well. And you know what? Let's have some fun. We'll see you on the next video.